Hello, so this is the first time I'm using the video app and something's occurred in the game and I wanted to share it with you. Now there's this prolific troller called Jan who plays under the account names of Lucifer and Idima, which is his wife's character. Even Lucifer, the character he uses, is not actually his own. His own character got blocked by Snail for trying to scam Snail out of some free gold. And I had to comment when I saw it and I thought I'd capture it for this video. And he was just going on about how it was like 7 versus him or something like that. So I had to say stuff like, yeah, and just accept when you lost. Because like, all he ever does, right, is he either ups his character, makes it super strong, and then goes around and attacks weak players, or if he's equal to them, he'll gang on them with his guild, and his guild also likes to gang up on people, so you don't get one-on-one fights with his guild. It's always like 5, 6, 7 upwards, jumping one person. So when some of the top players in the game do it back to him, it's kind of funny to see his excuses, I gotta admit. And so I thought we'd just go through some of this, just because, well, I thought it was funny, and well, I want to try out the video recording built-in app on my S8. Yeah, finally, I got an S8. So, yeah, no more lag. This is actually him and him. It's the same person, I'm not joking. Oh god, so funny. Oh my god. Oh god, this guy's so funny. Anyways, this is just testing out this. I think I put it in high quality for recording, but I don't know. I'm still learning how to use an S8. Keep in mind, I've been using Mobius N and stuck on an S5, and I don't even know if this is actually recording right now. It's all new to me, and I think it is. Tap to stop recording. Yeah, I'm assuming I can do it from in here as well. Yeah, from hitting that. So, thank you for watching. This, of course, is just for entertainment purposes only. I thought I'd have to say that because you know what YouTube's like with, if you're making a video that's all about hate, so we're gonna have to block it. So, yeah, it's for entertainment purposes only, so don't go after this raging. He put the word there exactly. That raging. Okay, just ignore him, he's a clown. And thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Oh, and my next video is going to be about God Devines. In fact, before I make that video, I'll quickly go over what I mean that I'm going to be talking about. Just in case you want more information on it, make sure you stay tuned and I'll be going in depth about it. So you see how I've got my total grades up quite high, so that I'm getting quite a lot for it. Well, I'm going to teach you how to do that, as well as how to max this one. As you can tell, this one has already been maxed, so it can't go up any further. But this, it can go up to basically the total amount of devines there are in the game. And then this is obviously increased by obtaining more devines. The more of those devines that you upgrade increases this stuff. So yep, I'll be going in depth about that, and to give you an idea of how it works, these are the devines I've got so far. I finally got my first God Devine, which I'm quite happy about. I got myself one of these. And yeah, as you can notice, I focused a lot of upgrades on the Devine that I'm currently using. That's at 81 on its upgrades. But I've also upgraded some, well, one of each type of Devine that I've got for every single one. So I've upgraded one butterfly what is it called? Butterfly fan. I've upgraded one of them, one of these because I've only got one of these anyways, one of these, one of those, one of those, one of those, one of those. Looks like that one that I've recently got, yeah, is better. So you see at the top the better ones are, and the below them are the worse ones, the weaker ones of that type. So the very last one, this one, is one that's only got one extra stats. Whereas the higher up, the more extra stats they've got. This one I could equip a bit, well, could move the smelt that's on here onto that. And the easiest way to do that would be to go to smelt. Go to this, I could smelt that, which would allow me to take all of the smelt that I've used on it, which is 103, out of it without breaking the divine. If you smelt it when there's nothing on, like this one, if I was to smelt this, I'd take 16 smelt out of what the divine's actually worth, and it would destroy the divine. So only smelt if you're trying to get your smelt back. Only smelt the ones you've already upgraded to get your smelt back, to be able to put it on whatever you want. Now in this case, this one's an unbound divine. As you can see, it doesn't have a padlock on it like this one does. Which means, if I was to equip this, or upgrade this, it would become bound and I wouldn't be able to trade it. So I'm actually not going to move the smelt across to that one, even though it's better. Because I don't use that divine anyways. I'm using even better ones. So I'd rather sell this to someone who wants it. It's got cert hit, cert deflect, no, damage deflect, cert hit. Damage reduction penetration and defense reduction, no, damage reduction. My bad, I always skim read a little too fast and mix things up. So that's cert hit, damage deflect, damage reduction penetration, and damage reduction. So damage reduction basically reduces the amount of damage you receive. Damage reduction penetration will take points off your enemy's damage reduction to allow you to inflict more damage on them past their damage reduction. Or their defense, I guess. I would assume their damage reduction though. And then you've got damage deflect. So that's basically like reflect, so it reflects some of the damage you receive back to your enemy. And cert hit obviously increases the amount of cert hit you have, so you can do more cert damage. In other words, you can hit more cert, allowing you to do more damage. Anyways, that's the little bit of going over the divines. I can go in depth about that in a later video. In fact, I might just class this video as a bit of fun slash, I don't know, divine information. So yeah, you know what, I'm just going to put this video up as a divine information and a little bit of entertainment purposes at the beginning. I'm ignoring Lucifer or Idima aka Yan right now because it's just boring. So yeah, remember, when you start off the game, you're new to it and everything, you're probably best off just spreading all of the stuff you get over one of every single type of divine. So in this case, for me, it would be that, 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 and everything that's got 15 on. I'm not going to put it on that because I want to sell it. May as well give it away since I don't actually need it. And as you can tell, this one's the lowest sparrow sword, only has one extra stat, and the one at the top, this one, has 3. I've obviously got one that's slightly better because it's further across, but I'm going to sell that. There's no point in me placing that on. It's unbound. There's no padlock on this one, so I may as well sell it and give it to someone. If I click equipped now, or I upgraded it, it will put a padlock on it and wouldn't let me trade it or give it away. And I may as well give it to someone who might need it. The spare butterfly fan, if you've probably already noticed, this one here is unbound. It's actually a device that's, well, a divine weapon that's very hard to obtain in the game, and most people sell them for, let's see what they're being sold for right now, if there's any in trade. My bad, I forgot to turn the music off, so I'm just quickly going to go over things for those who didn't hear. So we're going to check how much the divine that I just went to, the butterfly fan, is being sold for. If there's any in trade. It's a very rare and hard divine to get. 180k. Well, I'm going to give mine away. I've already decided who I'm going to give it away to. I advertised it in World Chat, asked if anyone wants it. The person who wants it, I feel I can trust, you know what I mean? They're not going to use their state in the game or might in the game to go around and bully people, so I will give it away to them. So as I was saying, just because I forgot to turn the music down, sorry, my bad, I did it again. So yeah, for those who didn't hear, to increase these to get a higher amount on it, you just collect more of one of every single type of divine. So the first time you get a new divine that you haven't got, this will go up by 1 point. And then obviously I can keep upgrading, well, increasing this by getting more new divines that I currently don't own. By upgrading one of every divine you own, increases this. And this you increase by obtaining stats. So what this means, as you can see, it's maxed. If I go to my divines, you can see when you click on them, they have additional stats. But the reason mine is maxed is because every possible additional stat that you can have on a divine, I've actually got somewhere on some of my divines. So I've got all of these stats on this one. I've got all of these on this, these on this, or this on this, and that's why it's maxed on that one, because every additional stat that you can get on a divine, one of my divines that I currently own will have that stat somewhere. So yeah, to increase this second box, so this is for your stats, the additional stats. This is for total grades, and you increase that by upgrading one of every divine. So you see I've got a butterfly fan here. I've got this one upgraded. If I was to upgrade this one by clicking on it and clicking upgrade and using smelt on that, my bonuses for it would go up by absolutely nothing, because I've already upgraded one to 14. So if I upgraded this one to say 15, it would go up by 1 point, bringing my grades, my total grades, from 395 to 396. However, that would also mean that by bringing this one up to 15, all the smelt that I used on this one to get to 14 would then be a complete waste. You may as well just upgrade this 14 to 15 instead of wasting loads more smelt bringing this up to 14 and then going up again to 15. So to get the most out of it, just upgrade one of every type of divine you own. And at the new point in the game, when you're at starting the game, you'll probably boost your stats more by spreading it out equally among all of the divines that you own. So let's say you've got a couple of blue and a couple of green. You don't want to go around upgrading all of these weapons. You just do one of these weapons, one of these weapons, one of these weapons, one of these, 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 and so on and so forth. That's how you increase this. And this is increased when you obtain more divines. So every time you get a new divine, this will go up by 1. So yeah, that's everything you need to know about divines. And obviously, as you can tell when I click on this, if I was to upgrade this one, the one that I'm currently using, from 81 to 82, it would cost me 1,495 smelt. And the smelt that I've used on this would actually allow me to upgrade that to about 282, possibly even 83, for all the smelt that I've used on all these other divines. But I'm not going to, because boosting up all these other divines will give me more of these bonuses. If I took all that off and just put it on that one divine, the one that I'm currently using, this divine would basically boost my attack by about 100 points and would boost my defense by about 100 points, or just under 100 points. But then by removing all of these, I would lose basically all of my bonuses. You see my bonuses, say I'm at 395. That's because in total, adding up the 81 from here, the 15 from there, the 15 from there, the 14 from there, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, so on and so forth, adds up to 395. That's how many upgrades are on all of my divines that I've upgraded. Upgrading a duplicate divine, say 2 butterfly fans, won't count. It's only for one of each divine that you own. I can't stress that enough. I tried and tested it, and you know what? I'll do it on here right now. I think I've got a divine. I think I've got some smelts to put on some of my divines, so let's go and see. These ones are all at 15. Yep. So I'm going to show you now what I mean. This one's at 14. You see, if I was to upgrade it, I've got enough to upgrade it, so I am going to put some upgrades on. So before I do this, we're going to use butterfly fan as an example. You can see that this is at 395. So I'm going to go to butterfly fan. Remember, that's at 395. If I was to upgrade this one just by one, it'll only cost me 1 smelt. And have a look at my bonuses now. It'll be exactly the same. It won't count. 395. So basically, whatever you put on a duplicate divine doesn't add up to anything. It's a waste. But if I upgrade this one, which is the divine that I've got upgraded the most for butterfly fan, that's at 14 upgrades. I just put 1 on. Now it should go up to 396. 396. I hope that makes it clear for how to upgrade this. So now what I'm going to do, since I wasted some of my divine, well, some of my smelt and some of my bound silver, but I'm not too worried about that. Is I'm going to take this back, because I don't need to put that 1 smelt on there. And watch what happens. When I smelt it, upgrade's gone. If I scroll back up, you'll see that divine that I've just smelted is still there. If I was to smelt it again, now there's no upgrades on it, it would take this, which is the value of what the divine is actually worth in smelt, and it would destroy my divine. So never smelt a divine that has got no upgrades on it, otherwise you'll destroy it. Now when it comes to these god divines and gold divines and all that type of stuff, you want to keep all of these. Any god divines you've got, let's see. Say for example, this one's a god divine. You click on it, it says god. That's how you know it's a god divine rank. This one is heaven. These ones are earth divines. These ones are earth. Now all of those divines are really hard to get, so you do not want to be smelting them for smelt. So make sure you keep them, and there's a reason why you're going to want to do this. I'll show you. I haven't got enough bound gold to do any upgrades, but I can show you how it works. Not for upgrades, purify. Oh, you can't purify while it's equipped, so I'm going to unequip it right now. My God, divine. Now I'm going to click purify. Now what this does, something that I should go over in this video, since I'm making this video about devines. Sorry if the video is going on a little bit too long, but at least all the information is going to be out there. So, in regards to this, I've already done 2 upgrades. Each upgrade is worth half a star. So I'm at a full star, that's 2 upgrades. Your first upgrade will cost you 50 unbound gold. Second is 100 unbound gold, and now I'm at 150. I've only got 55 at the moment, so I wouldn't be able to upgrade it any further. Now this is your success chance. As you can see, I'm at 0%. Which means if I was to try to smelt it, well, spend gold to upgrade this as is, I would get absolutely no stars for it. It'll be a waste. Now if I was to fill it up with green, which are the lowest quality devines, it's only bringing me up to 25%, which means there's a 75% of fail. So you wouldn't do that, especially on a God divine. A God divine for some reason tends to start off at around requiring blue divines upwards if you want to have a 100% success rate. But you want to still keep some of the greens in case you get to a point where you're only a few % off. Instead of using one of your blues or your purples or your golds, you might be able to throw one of the greens in to close it into 100 without wasting a divine, you know what I mean? So let's go with blues. Blues would bring me up to 75. So now at this point you would definitely need to use at least one of the purples. There's 30%. There's 90. Okay, that means you're going to need to use at least 2. That's 100. We'll drop this down to 90. And let's see if a green would close the gap so that we don't have to use. A green would bring it up to 95. So if you want 100% success, at this point, you would need, so after your first star, you would need 2 blues, no, 2 purples and 3 blues for a guaranteed success rate. And as you increase the stars further and further, you'll need higher quality. And just test what you need and don't need. So, yeah, let's see if we can do it. We definitely can't do it with 1 purple. I've already checked that, haven't I? So this is probably the best way of doing it for a guaranteed success rate. Or you can take a gamble if you want and do 2 purples, 2 blues and 1 green. In other words, saving your blues. But for me, I don't need to do that because I've got loads of blues. So I don't need to worry about being too short on blues. This would give you a 95% chance of success, which means there's a 5% chance of failing. But if you don't want to run the risk of losing 150 gold at this point, and you want it to definitely be a success, do 3 blues, 2 purples. And that way it won't fail. So yeah, now what this does, if you read through this, is after you've done this, it'll come up with a set of 2 stats. One being the stats which will be shown on this side of the screen. There'll be a box that appears. So say this is the area where the box has appeared. It'll show you stats here that you've currently got and stats here that you just got from doing this. And it'll ask you whether you want to keep your old stats or equip the new stats. And that's how I actually got this. I did originally have only about 2 or 3 stats on this weapon. And when I purified it the first time and gave me half a star, I accepted those stats because they were slightly better. And then when I did it the second time, I got these stats. And I obviously accepted that. you have a choice to either accept the new stats or keep the old stats. And I believe even if you keep the old stats, it's not going to decrease the star that you've just got. This is just giving you an option to choose whether you want to stick with your old stats or accept the new stats that you got. Sometimes the new stats will be better, sometimes they'll be worse. If they are worse, I would suggest you to keep the old stats. If they're better, accept the new stats. So that's all the information on this. You boost this by collecting one of every single type of divine. You increase this by upgrading one of every single type of divine. You increase this by basically having loads of different divines and that have every possible stat that you can possibly get in the game. So that's how you do that. These are the cards. If I was to sell all of these, for example, then this card would disappear and become greyed out, and it would say that I no longer own it, and I would lose not only 1 point off this because I don't own the divine anymore after getting rid of all of those divines, but I would also lose any of the upgrades from here that I've put on those divines, or that divine of the highest upgrade. So in this case that would be 15. Even if these were upgraded below 15 to say 5 or 10, they don't count because that's how the game is. Only the one you've upgraded the highest will count. So yeah, I think that's everything. Let me just check. Yep, use smelt to upgrade them. To increase your level, you just battle with them or participate in events that give you EXP, and that'll increase the level on the divine and also boost the stats from that divine. So doing this would obviously give you some EXP and increase the level on the divine. And yeah, so we're going to end this here because this video is dragging on a little too long. I'm not sure how this video is going to turn out because I've never recorded this way before. But I have put it in high quality, so let's just see. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.